Revolutionary Yelena here. I truly believe in order to have a freedom-based business, there's two truths, and it's mastering creating high-quality leads and be able to close sales. When you have these two mastered, these skills transfer to any industry in almost any economy. But sales has a really huge negative connotation, and there's a lot of fear of being salesy and pushy and sleazy and slimy, which I get because I felt that way for a long time as well. And the way that I was able to overcome my fears around sales and asking for the sales is thinking of sales as a conversation. And it's a chance for you and the other person to get a way to evaluate each other. And also, it's a place for you to show up with strength and compassion to really identify and help them get clear on what help they need, and to really decide whether working together is a right fit and whether they're going to move forward. When you come from a place of that integrity and genuineness and transparency, it takes away the sleaziness, the sliminess, and it builds that trust within the person, while that you show that you really care about them. And if you still have some shame or guilt around asking for the sale, one of the best golden nuggets I've received from Mary Kay is, nothing happens until somebody sells something. So whether you're the buyer or the seller, there's integrity with both. Like, you have no issues going to Walgreens, CVS, or whatever store and buying something. So the same thing, there shouldn't be any shame around selling your services, especially if you actually have your services and products can help somebody. So if there's a money story or that shame that comes around it, it's time to address it and be cognizant and aware of it so that you can move past it. So from here on forward, I want you to think of sales as leadership. And your potential client wants and needs you to lead powerfully with confidence throughout this conversation and not be fazed by your money story or their money story. And this will be the preface of, how your coaching or your services will be, because they need somebody to hold them powerfully because you're confident in your own strength and what you got to offer, and that nothing will throw you off guard. They need you to be a solid rock. So whether you call it the discovery call or strategy session or enrollment call or sales call, here are 5 tips to help you close like a boss. So tip number 1 is to pre-profile prior to the call. And this is a simple questionnaire that when they book your discovery call, that helps you identify, one, if it's an ideal client, and to weed out if they're simply looking for free coaching or just to get some, general questions about your program and your pricing. Put up the information on a website and, let them know that you can schedule a call when they're ready. So that way, that when you actually do spend time having this call, that it's people that are not only the right ideal client for you, but that they're interested in the potential of possibly working with you. This piece is so powerful because it is the first step that sets the intention of what the purpose of the discovery call is, and to identify if they're ready for this step to invest in themselves and kind of get a general feel for where they are in their business or in their life. Tip number 2 is to set a clear purpose for the call. And you, again, set that intention by stating at the very beginning of the call that the purpose of this for your potential client is to not only get to know them, but also to determine whether working together is the best fit. And it also sets the expectation that you will bring up your services and your offer later in the call so that they're not caught off guard, or that it doesn't come out of nowhere and as a surprise to them. They are aware of to expect it later in the call. And at this time, if they say anything other than a yes, this is where you can step up and say, if they're not ready to see if the possibility of working together is right now a good fit, then you can reschedule a call for a later time and not waste your time and also not theirs. They're going to have a lot more respect for you when you set that intention earlier on. Tip number 3 is to live in the power of questions. This gives you the chance to dive in with curiosity of, asking powerful questions of where they really are right now and what their biggest struggles, and finding what that gap is, because you're helping them uncover what is really preventing them from what changes they need to make in order to get what they want. And, I love another Mary Kay golden nugget is the person who talks the most is the one that goes home with the product. So ask powerful questions to have them talking about what they need and uncover what their needs are. And you will just be able to evaluate whether your service or offer is the right fit for them. And if it's not, then you can let them know as well. If you do feel uncomfortable asking a question, then simply ask for permission. They'll let you know whether they're available or not to have that conversation or not. But the most important is to be able to lead powerfully and ask powerful questions to really identify what they're missing. Tip number 4 is to determine the urgency and the dedication. Is this something that they need absolutely right now? And how dedicated are they going to make the changes that they need to? Because the reality is, you spend maybe an hour or two a week with them. There's so much time, 167 hours or something, that you don't spend with them. You're not the one that's going to be able to make those changes for them. It's putting that responsibility on them. So understanding how urgent this is for them and how dedicated they are to making those changes will determine whether this is an ideal situation for both of you. And tip number 5 is and I absolutely love this one. This is probably my favorite one, is to get a solid yes that your service or offer is the right fit before you go into the logistics and the price of what you're offering. And this helps you avoid that indecision of introducing another variable before your potential client has made the decision whether this is the right fit. And I love this because you get to ask questions. If you don't get a solid yes, then you can dive into that. And if you do feel that hesitancy, trust your intuition to ask the right questions. Remember, the confused buyer never buys. So this is your chance to talk about the value that you can offer, but also to show up powerfully for your potential client because they need you to lead the way. As always, I'd love to close with an inspirational quote. Most people think selling is the same as talking, but the most effective salespeople know that listening is the most important part of their job. If you love this video, then sharing is caring. Also, I want to hear from you. So in the comments below, write down one thing that you do to master your discovery calls or sales calls. And again, this is all about practice. Mastery comes with repetition. Always keep radiating your beautiful light to the world, living life with passion, purpose, and meaning. With love and belief in you, Yelena.